Welcome, language learners from all around the globe, to Listen Up, the podcast that takes you on a captivating voyage through the English language. Whether you're just starting your journey or have been navigating the intricacies of English for some time, this podcast is designed to be your trusty compass, guiding you towards fluency and unlocking the wonders of English. I'm your host, Karen, a passionate traveller and an experienced teacher of English as a second language. Join me as we embark on an exciting expedition filled with all aspects of English life, read by a native British speaker. Together we'll conquer the challenges and celebrate the victories of learning English as a foreign language. Each episode of Listen Up will immerse you in a variety of topics, from aspects of British culture, history, and literature. We'll explore useful vocabulary that will empower you to communicate confidently in English. If you want to read along with the podcast, head to my website, onepawinthesand.com/ESL. The link is in the description. But this podcast isn't just about learning English in isolation. It's also about building a community of language learners, supporting one another, and fostering a love for the English language. I encourage you to engage with us through my Patreon page, where you can connect with fellow learners, ask questions, share your own language journey, and as a reward for being so amazing, you will get exclusive content each month. So whether you're sipping tea in Tokyo, walking the streets of Sao Paulo, or studying in a bustling cafe in Berlin, Listen Up is here to accompany you on your quest for English fluency. Join me as we embark on this transformative expedition, where language becomes an adventure and your dreams of effective communication become a reality. Get comfortable and let the learning begin. Today's episode is called Sourdough Bread. This month we're discussing baking and cooking. In bread baking, few things are as satisfying as the process and taste of homemade sourdough bread, with its tangy flavour, chewy crust, soft centre. Sourdough has captured the hearts and taste buds of bakers and food enthusiasts alike. But mastering the art of sourdough can seem daunting to beginners. Fear not, with a bit of patience, practice, and the right recipe, you too can become a sourdough aficionado. Before we delve into the recipe, let's briefly touch upon what makes sourdough so unique. Unlike traditional bread that uses commercial yeast, which is added to the dough to make it rise quickly, sourdough relies on natural wild yeast and lactobacilli, presenting the flour and the environment. This symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, often referred to as the starter, gives sourdough its characteristic tangy flavour and allows for a slow fermentation process, resulting in a more complex and nuanced taste profile. Sourdough journey begins with the starter. Here's how to create your own. The ingredients are 100 grams of whole grain flour, such as rye or whole wheat, and 100 milliliters of lukewarm water. In a clean glass jar, mix the flour and water until it's well combined. Cover the jar loosely with a clean cloth or plastic, allowing for airflow. Place the jar in a warm spot in your kitchen, ideally around 21 to 24 degrees Celsius or 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Once a day, discard half of the starter and feed it with equal parts of flour and water. After about 5 to 7 days of daily feedings, your starter should be bubbly and active, ready to use in your sourdough bread recipe. Now that you have a lively starter, it's time to put it to good use. Here's a basic recipe for delicious sourdough bread. Ingredients: 350 grams of the active sourdough starter, 500 grams of bread flour, 300 milliliters of lukewarm water, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 10 grams of salt. In a large mixing bowl, combine the sourdough starter and water, stirring until it's well mixed. Add the bread flour and salt to the bowl, mixing until a dry, rough, shaggy dough forms. Cover the bowl with a clean cloth or plastic wrap and let it rest at room temperature for 30 minutes to an hour. This step, known as autolyse, allows the flour to fully hydrate and develop gluten. After the autolyse, perform a series of stretches and folds. Gently stretch one side of the dough up and fold it over the center. Then repeat with the other 3 sides. Cover and let it rest for another 30 minutes. Repeat this process 3 to 4 times at 30-minute intervals. After the final set of stretches and folds, cover the bowl and let the dough bulk ferment at room temperature for 6 to 12 hours, or until it has roughly doubled in size. The exact time will depend on the temperature of your kitchen and the activity of your starter. Once the dough has risen, gently shape it into a round loaf and place it seam side up in a floured proofing basket or bowl lined with a cloth. Cover and let it proof at room temperature for 2 to 4 hours, or until it has visibly expanded and feels airy to the touch. About 30 minutes before baking, preheat your oven to 230 degrees Celsius or 450 degrees Fahrenheit with a Dutch oven or baking stone inside. Carefully transfer the proofed dough into the preheated Dutch oven or baking stone. Score the top of the loaf with a sharp knife or razor blade to allow for expansion. Cover the Dutch oven with its lid, or use a large oven-safe pot as a cover if using a baking stone, and bake for 20 minutes. Then remove the lid and bake for an additional 20 to 25 minutes, or until the bread is golden brown and sounds hollow when tapped on the bottom. Once baked, transfer the loaf to a wire rack and cool completely before slicing. There you have it, a step-by-step guide to baking your own sourdough bread from scratch. While the process may require time and patience, the rewards are well worth it. Whether enjoyed fresh out of the oven with a smear of butter or toasted and topped with your favorite ingredients, homemade sourdough bread is sure to impress even the most discerning bread lover. So roll up your sleeves, dust off your apron, and embark on your sourdough journey today. Happy baking! As we wrap up another exciting episode of Listen Up, I'm thrilled to offer my dedicated listeners an exclusive opportunity to take their language skills to new heights. Unlock the door to fluency with private lessons with me, tailored just for you. As a token of my appreciation, I'm giving a special 25% off voucher to all my fantastic listeners. Embrace the joy of learning. Immerse yourself in a personalized language journey and watch as your confidence soars. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to make language learning an even more rewarding adventure. Use code PODCAST24 at the checkout and let the linguistic exploration begin. Thank you for joining me on this incredible language learning voyage. Your success is my inspiration.